Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, world. Welcome to episode 6 of Ball Don't Lie. I'm your host, Jerry, with my co-host, Starkey.
Darky,
How we doing today, buddy?
good, my man. How are you?
Oh, man, we're doing good. A little rainy today here in good old Memphis, but we're making it. How's Marigold?
Wet. It's
Okay.
been raining all day down here in the Delta.
Just the same.
It's been flooding, got crazy down here.
Well, have fun with the mosquitoes, because it's probably going to get a little toasty for you this week.
Always.
But we're going to go ahead and just jump into it this week, folks.
Let's do it.
First topic, one of my favorite weekends of the year. Not NBA or NFL draft. It's tied with opening weekend of March Maddness. NBA All-Star weekend. My favorite pro All-Star week, All-Star sport event. Was not impressed.
Yeah, what a letdown this year's was, for sure.
Well, Friday night gave me a lot of hope. NBA Rising Stars. That was amazing. I loved the turning breakdown. That was amazing. I really thought Team Isaiah, the one I picked to win, was going to win.
Mhm.
They choked in the finals, but lost by 5 in the finals. It's okay. I think out of all we say All-Star Weekend was bad, but I think Scotty Barnes and Tyrese Maxey had probably the worst All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes needs to
For
be.
those who don't know, they added a new thing too. It was a shooting contest for the Rising Stars. They had about 6 different spots to shoot from. One of them was the Magic Johnson floater from about 3 or 4 feet in front of the basket. You could even stand still. And I think Scotty Barnes and Tyrese Maxey, they had to make all 6 shots in under 38.2 seconds. They made 1 shot.
Combined.
They made the second shot was a corner 3, and neither one of them could make the floater. It took Scotty Barnes missed 5. So if I'm a Toronto fan, I really don't want Scotty Barnes taking the game-winning shot, going for it. Because granted, you could tell he was joking around the first 2 misses. Then I think at 3, 4, 5, you could tell in his face, he's like, I better make this. I'm never going to let it down.
Oh, okay. This is real now.
Man, did not see that on his scouting report, did you?
Negative.
The new skills challenge, loved it. Was very shocked a big man team won. I did not see Team Cavs winning. I thought the Rooks were going to win. I think everybody and their mother knew that Antetokounmpos were not going to win because none of them can shoot.
No.
I was really hoping the Rooks were going to win. I thought they did. I picked them last week, but unfortunately they let me down. But, hey, shout out to Jared Allen, shout out Evan Mobley, and shout out Darius Garland. Representing Brentwood, baby.
Evan Mobley is a stud.
He is a stud. You know,
that man is an absolute monster.
His older brother's pretty good too. Doesn't really project as well NBA wise compared to his brother skill set wise or like potential. But I think right now he's averaging 17 points a game and 7 rebounds a game, with I think 3 assists a game.
Okay.
He's just overpowering people. That's really what it is, honestly. From a little I've watched of USC. But hey, Boogie Ellis, who should still be playing for Memphis, is doing great over there.
Too soon.
Doing great, Penny.
Too soon.
But then
we'll get into that later.
With probably here in Memphis, you could arguably say the most hyped part of it was Desmond Bane.
Oh, 100%.
Everybody in the 901 thought Bane was coming home. I thought he was too. Was coming home with 3-point shootout.
He was my pick.
He didn't make it out of the first round. He shot some years that night an 18 would have got you out of the first round. No, this year, Mr. Luke Kennard set the bar high with a 28 in the first round. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to beat in any round.
The culture. And I think everybody was like, okay. I think everybody was like, okay, Luke Kennard's going to win. So you had Trae Young and Karl Anthony Towns moving on to the next round. to the finals. Kennard shot. It was Cat went first. Cat shot a 29. So you're thinking, okay, you have two guys who are arguably some of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, Trae Young especially, and Luke Kennard, who just shot a 28. They get a 26. Cat wins. If you would have put $100 on it, folks, you would have won $1,200. We're not sponsored by FanDuel yet, but we're still hoping we are. The show is still unsponsored, folks. If you'd like to sponsor a little episode of the short segment of the podcast, please feel free to DM us at baldonlies696952@gmail.com or message us on YouTube or Spotify. I get the notification because I manage the account. But back to it, though. Dunk contest. Every year, I think we get our hopes up for it. Every year. Granted, there's the argument it's all been done before. No, it hasn't. Then if it's all been done before, you make the argument, oh, Vince Carter did all that, or Jason Richardson did that, Dwight did that. Why didn't
Griffin did that?
Yes. Levine did that. Aaron Gordon did that. Why did Aaron Gordon still come out with amazing things last year when he was in it? Why did Derrick Jones Jr. amaze us that it's there? You mean to tell me today with these kids with these unreal athleticism?
Right.
They can't, yeah. It's not possible. There is super potential for the NBA dunk contest. The NBA, get Ja in there. Get Levine. Like you said, you want Levine in there again. Get Aaron Gordon in there. Pay them. Do whatever it takes.
Anything and everything it takes. Get some stars in the dunk contest.
Get old Vince Carter back in there, baby. I mean, he can still dunk a little, but probably not enough. But do whatever it takes to get the big name people. Ja needs to be in there. At the end of the night, they show Shaq halfway through it. Shaq has his hand on the face. Shaq said afterward he was disappointed for the fans because he said this is our job to put a show on them for them this whole weekend, to give the fans gratitude. And Shaq said we did not give them the gratitude they deserved that night, Saturday night, for the dunk contest, which I agree was terrible.
Absolutely. And I think
Obi Toppin,
one of the beautiful things,
some good dunks. No. If you match him up to the Levine Gordon year, nowhere near it. Juan Toscano. No, he only got in there because Cole Anthony was trying to get a perfect 50. Cole Anthony was trying to do an impossible dunk, which I applaud him for.
Yeah.
I love the fact he dunked in Timberlands. Shout out to that. Jalen Green just proved, I think, he was an in-game dunker. If you want my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Then let's jump into Saturday night. Or Sunday night, I'm sorry.
Sunday night.
I think the city of Memphis, again, had some hopes. Ja was going to put on a show like he does every game for Memphis. He did, a little. I mean, he had 2 highlight
First half.
plays.
He did?
2 highlight plays. I mean, yeah, well, he should have played a lot more, honestly. I don't know why Spoelstra did not play him, but.
I think we were talking before the broadcast. 15 minutes for the whole game?
Ja played 15 minutes, shot 50% from the field, 0 from 3, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 6 points.
And 4 of those 6 points are highlight dunks.
But did you notice what every commentator was saying after they happened? Get him in there. I feel like Dwayne Wade was modest after the slam dunk contest.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I give it a 6."
Yeah,
I'd give it a 4.
Oh, and even that's generous.
I don't really recall seeing any of the NBA players lose their mind when someone did a dunk. They went out there and recorded it, but that was just to hype them up to try to get something. But no, it's terrible.
I was listening to the radio today, and I want to say it was Calkins said after the 3-point contest, he turned it off and went to bed. He missed the entire dunk contest, and he said he was basically not exact words, basically better off for it.
John wants $6 million to be in it, or wants $1 million. I'm sorry, to be in it. Put $1 million out there. NBA, you have the money. It's going to be in Utah next year. Get Donovan Mitchell in there. This NBA dunk contest reminded me of probably the worst one I've ever watched. It was the 2012 NBA Slam Dunk Contest. It was Chase Budinger, Jeremy Evans, Paul George, and Derek Williams. You got one big name guy in there. He really wasn't a big name at the time.
Right.
Paul George was still trying to come in. He wasn't PG-13 yet.
Not yet, no. Not yet.
He was just a modest athletic guy who could get some buckets. But that was the worst one I've ever watched. That one had no dunks. I was like, oh my gosh. Had no Levine, had no Aaron Gordon, had no Kobe dunks, definitely had no Vince Carter dunks. But pay them. Do whatever it takes, NBA. Fix the slam dunk contest. We said for the NFL to fix the Pro Bowl, what to do. NBA, Adam Silver. Adam's probably the best commissioner in all the sports, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he's proven that time and time
He's
again.
a man of the people. Pay them. Pay the man his money. Everyone at work uses that from a movie. I don't know what movie it is, but pay the man his money. Pay him. I really thought Embiid deserved NBA All-Star MVP. Granted, I get it. Steph dropped 50. He was shooting threes all the time. At least Embiid wasn't giving highlight dunks.
I think he went 16 of 19 from 30.
I mean, granted, that's good, but like, I'd rather see a big man get it. And I thought I really wanted Embiid to do it.
It's all right. He's saving for NBA MVP.
I don't know. Folks, I was wrong. Ja ones did not get released during NBA All-Star Weekend.
I was wondering if we were going to bring that up too. I was actually talking to Ashton about that today.
My insider source was wrong. I think they're waiting for his MVP trophy, or probably his most improved player trophy to be, probably the most improved player trophy to be awarded to him. But unfortunately, the Ja ones did not get released. My insider source was wrong. I do apologize, world. But the NBA did a cool thing during Starkey. They did a NBA top 75. Top 75 players of all time during halftime. Super cool. Loved it. Do you agree with it?
For the most part, there were some questionable at best inclusions.
So we're not going to break down the entire list, but what kind of stuck out to you? Who do you think got in there right? Who do you think was misranked or?
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the list now. Talking just off the air.
I agree with the majority of it. While you're pulling up your list, I think there were 3 guys right now in the NBA who are still playing in the NBA that should not get in the list. One, Carmelo Anthony. That is my hot take for the day. Okay, do you know how many first-team All-NBAs Carmelo has been selected to? 0.
Yeah, believe it or not, I think it was 0 actually.
Do you know
even
how
at the height of his time in Denver, Hoodie Melo, no first teams.
Do you know how many times Carmelo Anthony has made it to an NBA Finals?
I don't. Tell me.
He's made it to 0 NBA Finals.
I didn't think so, but I did want to be wrong.
I get it. He had a couple years during the 2000s. He was killing it in the 2000s. Early 2000, like the late 2000s, early 10s. He was killing it. One of the best scorers. But here's the thing. How can you be considered a top NBA? This will go in my other top NBA players. How can you consider yourself or the player a top player if I didn't win a ring? Granted, you could say Stockton, Malone, Barkley. They never won a ring.
But look at what else they did throughout
They made it though.
the entirety of their careers.
Barkley made it on a crappy team.
Yeah.
And okay, and if you have to tell me Stockton and Malone, they probably had the toughest gauntlet back in the late 80s, early 90s to get in there with MJ in his prime.
Yeah.
So that's my argument. Melo had his chances. He had it. They did everything for him. He had J.R. Smith. He had Iman Shumpert. He had Amari Stoudemire, Tyson Chandler, J. Kidd. Guess what all those guys I just listed told you? Guess what all of them have? Tyson Chandler, Amari. Well, Amari, I don't think Amari has it. But because he went to Israel for about a while. He's playing over in Israel. But JR, Iman, Jason Kidd, guess what all of them have? A ring. What does Melo not have? A ring. Next guy on the list, I also have three guys I would replace them with. Dame. I love Dame. Dame's one of my favorite. He's a top 10 player of mine right now. Super great guy.
He was going to be on my list also. He barely squeaked into the list.
But Dame, what has Dame done besides making it to one conference final? Exactly.
Nothing.
He has one NBA first team, 6-time All-Star. But granted, he hasn't had the best teams in the NBA. He's also averaged 30 points before, which is great. His career averages are 24, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds a game. Dame Dollar, I love you. But he also put up those numbers because he didn't have a great. Granted, he helped lead those teams toward the playoffs, but still not a top 75 player in NBA history.
No.
My final one. This one may be a little controversial. James Harden.
Explain.
James is a great scorer all day long. But if you want to be a top player, you have to excel in every aspect of the game. Unless you're like Dennis Rodman and the greatest defender of all time.
Yeah.
Because Dennis cannot score. He averaged 7 points a game in his career.
Which I think most people don't remember or realize because he was so locked down on defense.
Yes. He had more games to get double-digit rebounds they did scoring over 7 points. But Harden, and how many times has Harden made in the NBA Finals? Once. 2012-2013 season. Or I'm sorry, 2012-2013, I'm sorry. Over the OKC Thunder.
Yes.
That team also was one of the youngest teams in the NBA at the time, with a young Russ, a young James, and a young KD at the time. Harden's stats are there offensively. But also take into the aspect, he's a terrible teammate. He couldn't win with. So let me pull up one of his Houston teams real fast. Sorry. Houston gave him whatever. You mean you can't tell me you couldn't make it in the NBA Finals with Chris Paul as your point guard?
Right.
Bruh.
Sorry, I was looking for my second.
He's a great player. Yes, he's great. But is he a top 75 player? No, he is not. Him and Melo and my hot stamps tonight, they do not deserve to be in the top NBA top 75. Let's pull up one right here. We'll go 2016-2017 season. They lost in the conference semifinals. That team, Ryan Anderson, Pat Bev, they had stacked teams for him every year. They built around him. I'm not going to go to the whole roster, but they built around him. They gave him whatever he wanted. He said he wanted Chris. Guess what they did? They got Chris. And then he said, yeah, man, I don't like Chris no more. They got Russell. And then, hey, man, I don't want to play here no more. I don't like playing with Russ. So I took out 3 guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to replace it with 3 guys.
Go for it.
One, arguably one of the best unsung point guards in the NBA history. He is a 4-time NBA champion. He is a finals MVP, 6-time NBA All-Star, 3-time second team All-NBA, has his jersey retired by the Spurs. His career average are 15.5, 2.7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game. A Mr. Tony Parker.
Mr. France himself.
Hear me out, though. I get it. His highest he ever scored was 22 points a game. Highest career average in points. But here's the thing. He knew his role. He was a team player. Is the NBA all about being a team?
Absolutely.
I remember this is when point guards really weren't taken. This is when he played back in the era when big men were it. You had to have a great center and a great power forward to make it far in the NBA, right? Bully ball was
absolutely.
And the guy, he's 6'1", if that. Tony Parker, to me, deserved to be in the NBA top 75. Look at what he did, even without Tim and Manu in the lineups. He still put the team on his back. But more importantly, he showed up when it mattered in clutch situations time and time again, especially in the playoffs. Well, arguably, you could say Dame has proven that. Melo has not proven that. Harden has not proven that. Dame has got his team far to get. He's made clutch shots. But Tony Parker, the floor general, has proven to me he deserves to be in the NBA top 75. He was a bust. He was a miss. My next guy. This one, I feel like it's going to upset a little people here. Mr. Ben Wallace.
Okay.
You know, Ben Wallace, in a span of 5 years, was 4-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Did you know that?
I did not know that, actually.
2002, 03, 05, 06. Do you know how tall Ben Wallace is?
I knew he wasn't a 7-footer, was he?
Nope. Ben Wallace was barely 6'9", they said. But he was built like Desmond.
I was going to say 6'7".
He was
6'8",
all muscle. Went to Virginia Union, undrafted, out of 1996. Bounced around a little. Made his home in Detroit for 6 years. But here's the thing. People say, oh, he only averaged 5.7 points a game. Y'all don't understand. People were afraid to drive in the lane against him.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Debo. He knew how to angle his body, and you knew he was going to contest every layup and dunk. You were not going to dunk it on him.
Yeah.
And here's the best thing, though. What does he have that Melo, Harden, Lillard don't have? A ring. He does not have – he has a ring. They won it. And then you got to think, the year they won, they didn't have a star on their team. And you know who they played in the NBA Finals that year? Shaq. Granted, Shaq had average 26 points a game in the finals. But let me tell you what, that year they made the NBA Finals. Shaq was playing like an MVP. Granted, Shaq had 26 and 10. You got to think Shaq was in his prime that year. Yeah. That year, Shaq averaged 21.5 points and 11 rebounds. Shaq was not getting easy looks at the bucket. Shaq that season also made his free throws. But he made Shaq's life a living nightmare down there. And they had a washed-up Karl Malone on that team.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace deserved to be in there. And my final one, Pau Gasol. Not because he's a Grizzly, but if you just look at what he did as a rookie, man, Powell was great his first beginning years in Memphis. He was jamming on people. He was a mismatch nightmare. I think he's one of the greatest. And you got to think, though, count the international aspect. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
That's something that a lot of people, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
That's something a lot of people forget about, is especially when it comes to Powell and Mark, but not as much as Powell. Everyone talks about him in the NBA, what he did over here. His international career is second to none.
And granted, like we said, this is the NBA, not international. But for what he did in the NBA in the short time we had him here in Memphis was amazing. He was the sole reason, and you can say, kind of like Dame, he led his team to the playoffs. Powell did the same thing here in Memphis every year. You mean to tell me Jason Williams? I love Jay Will. Great, one of my favorite point guards in NBA history. Jay Will was not great. Mike Miller, I wasn't consistent. Mike, you always worry about when is his back going to give out again. Shane was not a scorer. James Posey was not a scorer. Stromile Swift was not great. Powell deserved to be in the top 75. Starkey, what do you got?
So I'm just going to go two. Well, three if you can count Dame. I do agree that Dame shouldn't be in the top 75, but two players that I believe are misnumbered.
Okay.
I'm going to go where they are now and where I think they should be.
Okay. Who you got? Can I take a guess?
A little bit higher up. Do what?
Is Kobe one of them?
100% Kobe Bryant is one of them.
So what's your criteria on why they were misranked? Like what did you
right now? So I don't necessarily have exact criteria, but just for what they did, Kobe especially. Okay. The second one I'll get into a little bit later, maybe slightly controversial. But Kobe Bryant, I know you can't really include this in a ranking, but Kobe is a brand.
One of the best, arguably probably besides him and LeBron, I hate to say it, are the best brands in basketball.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, and obviously, before I go any further, it's hard to believe that it's been 2 years without Kobe and Gianna and everyone else who passed away in that helicopter accident.
So where is he in the rankings?
He is 10 in the rankings.
Okay. So re-rank it. Where do you put him?
In the very least, top 8.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
All right.
Start from 1.
So, 1, I'm going to make some people mad here. All right. LeBron 1, MJ 2.
Was that your second hot take?
that wasn't even going to be my okay, well actually I wasn't even counting that. So yeah, I'll go 3.
How did you not count that? That's probably the most controversial thing you've said since Avatar.
More than likely. Yeah, so I've got 3. I believe that LeBron should be 1 over Michael. I believe that Kobe, in the very least, should be ahead of Tim Duncan.
Oh, no, sir. No, Tim is Duncan my guy, but continue.
Do what?
Tim Duncan is my favorite basketball player.
Tim Duncan is 8. I believe that Kobe should be ahead of Tim Duncan.
Negative.
And then my second one, because I don't want to make any more people mad with the whole LeBron MJ debate. I know that he, for at least 1-2 seasons, was hated universally by everyone in the NBA. but the greatest pure scorer in NBA history. Kevin Durant. KD's at 12. He should easily be top 10.
Oh my gosh. So how are you going to put a guy who has a losing percentage in the NBA Finals over a guy that's undefeated in the NBA Finals?
I mean,
MJ's 5-0. And MJ didn't have stellar teams. I can see
That's
your
true.
logic that if we're going off regular season, I'd put LeBron. He's like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, better regular season.
oh, I wasn't even talking. I was talking about KD.
I'm talking about LeBron, MJ.
Oh, okay.
Said
Yeah,
about
we can
that
talk about that
stuff.
for a
My
second.
mind is just fathomed by what you said. I can't get over the fact you say KD's a top 10 player. But how
Best pure scorer in NBA history. But okay, we can talk. We can talk LeBron and MJ if you want to.
Oh, but I'm just saying, KD's a cupcake.
He is a cupcake.
He's
I
the
agree.
definition of ring chaser.
Oh, 100%.
You blow a
Especially
3-1. You blow a 3-1 lead in the conference finals to a team that goes on to win the NBA Finals, and you join him the next year.
yeah.
You know, call me a little morbid, but when he tore his Achilles, I had no sympathy for him.
No, now, granted, this is as objective as I can possibly be. I think Kevin Durant's a snake, 100%.
100%. He's a snake in the ground. This is the guy that has fake Twitter aliases.
Oh, yeah, he has multiple burner accounts for sure.
He's the definition of a catfish. Forget the snake in the ground. The guy's a catfish.
That's really good. I've never heard of it that way.
But the fact that you have, I get it, LeBron, one of the greatest. It pains me this. LeBron's a ring chaser.
The years in Miami, yes.
He's a ring chaser when he went back to Cleveland. He saw, oh my gosh, Kyrie's actually pretty good, which Kyrie was. Hey, maybe we can get Kevin Love. And now he's saying he's going to leave LA. Remember, he said when he went to LA 2 years ago, LA is my home. I'm going to retire here. What was the breaking news All-Star Weekend from LeBron James?
He might go home.
I'm going to do whatever it takes to go play with Bronny. I get it. Well,
shout out to him for just trying to hype up his kid.
But he's going to do whatever he can. Well, Bronny's got to even make it probably to college. We'll see how Bronny does against the better talent, but we'll see. Starkey, that is another hot take you're going to have to deal with again, folks. Are you prepared for this? I thought my James Harden being a not top 75 player hitting all time was a hot take. You're LeBron over MJ. What's your criteria for that exactly?
Okay, so
like what makes you think? Have you always been team LeBron over MJ?
100%. I've always been team LeBron.
Both. This is the last episode of Ball Don't Lie. We've had a great run, 6 episodes.
Since he came into the league, I've always been a huge LeBron fan.
I think everybody is. But
I'm trying to be.
But he left Cleveland to go win a ring.
He did.
And guess what? Every NBA title he has an asterisk behind it.
The
Would
one
you like
in
me
Cleveland,
to break it down for you?
The one in Cleveland, he was carrying that team by himself. One of the worst teams, apart from
that was Kyrie put on a show that playoff when he won in Cleveland. Gosh dang it! You're making the anger come out of me, Starkey. I can't stand LeBron. I can't stand him at all. He does a lot for charity. The I Promise School, great. Gosh. Listen, first NBA title, lockout season, short season. D Rose tore his ACL. Everybody know the Bulls are going to win it that year. Next season, Ray Allen hit the shot. Ring number 3, Cleveland. Kyrie played out of his mind, and Kyrie hit the shot. People say, oh, it's the block. It's the block. No, it's Kyrie hit the gosh darn shot. I feel like I'm infuriating you a little. And then the last one, I respect your opinion, though. I love it. It brings out the journalism major in me again. But then they got the COVID season, the bubble.
The bubble.
Rest my case. Every LeBron ring, granted, he went to 4 straight finals, and guess what? He only won 1. Granted, he did something most teams have never done, come back from a 3-1 deficit in general, in any sport. He did it. Awesome. I give him his props. He's great. MJ's the GOAT. Now continue. Sorry.
So you look at it. Let me pull up. Hang on. Give me just a second.
I will say him and KD are probably tied for the most hated and the most loved NBA player.
Let's see. Give me just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize.
You're fine. I just don't. It's just MJ's the GOAT. He didn't have all he had was Scottie Pippen, whose career average was 15 points a game. Steve Kerr was his point guard. Steve Kerr was not even that good. And he had Rodman, who, like we said earlier in the show, got you 7 points a game.
All right. As of, I believe, 2 weeks ago, when you incorporate regular season and postseason put together, I know it's not the official stat, LeBron has the most points in NBA history.
Because he's taking the most shots.
Still has the most points. Regular season alone, he is sitting 3rd in points. He has over 4,000 more points than Michael Jordan does. That's just regular season. In assists, LeBron is sitting number 7 with just under 10,000 career assists. Michael Jordan's not even in the top 10.
He didn't have shooters on his team.
Do what?
He didn't have shooters on his team.
In steals, LeBron is top 10 with just over 2,000 career steals. So also get it done on the defensive side of the ball.
They let LeBron get away with a lot of stuff.
Let's see.
But yeah, I think you gotta take the big argument. The way the game is played, just 2 totally different ways. Now, if you breathe on one, you're going to get a foul. Back in when MJ played, you get throw a punch on somebody.
That is very, very true. Let's see.
Well, I agree. I think that's going to be the discussion to come down to it of all time. But I'm Team MJ. The fact speaks for itself. He retired and came back and won the finals.
He did, and I grew up watching MJ, like 90s baby,
You little Space Jam, you.
I mean, when you play with the GOAT, I mean, come on. When you're playing with Bugs Bunny, what more can be said for him?
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up. My first basketball was a red and black MJ Bulls basketball. So I grew up like at the height of the MJ era. But LeBron's the GOAT for me.
No, I agree. He's good. So we're gonna take that topic of basketball and stick on it, Starkey. What month is in 7 days?
That would be the month of March.
So actually, technically, it's 7, 8 days. Depends on how you look. Depends on when you listen, folks. But month of March, March Maddness, everyone's favorite time of the year. Bracketology is becoming more and
Yes.
more and more. We talked last week on the show about Memphis, about hey, we're thriving, we're surviving. I came to a crashing end on Sunday.
Screeching halt.
Watching the little that I watched, listened to the radio, watched the highlights. I saw a Memphis team that played like they did months ago. No life, really. Once they got down, they stayed down.
Apathetic, didn't care.
I checked the score. They were up by 5. 10 minutes later, they were down by 5. Checked it 15 minutes later, down by 15. Did not show much life that game. And you could see in the players' faces they did not have it in them. I don't know why. We should have won. Memphis is talent-wise, nobody's better than the AAC.
No.
Leads me to a topic, bracketology. Coming up, Jerry Palm, CBS Sports has Memphis in the first 4. Playing game. They have us playing Wake Forest. I still don't know who my team is this year to ride. I don't know. I like Gonzaga, but Gonzaga really hasn't played anybody. And I think every year we say, oh, this may be Gonzaga's year. I don't think it is. Arizona, I don't watch enough Pac-12, do you?
No. Dark. I'm already asleep by then.
Kansas, we've said that so many times in years past about Kansas. I don't think this Kansas team is that good.
I mean,
years
if
past,
I had to pick,
they've had more talented teams than they've. Sorry, I got the hiccups, folks. They've choked. Auburn, I like. Sorry, folks, got the hiccups. I like Auburn, but they've proven the past 2 weeks they're beatable.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I may be a little biased, but I really like Arkansas this year. They have their veteran team, and they're showing life. I like Purdue. Sorry, everyone. I really am. I like Purdue. I don't know. Kentucky, I hope they get knocked out first round. Right now, your 1 seeds are Arizona, Gonzaga, Kansas, and Auburn. I think this is the year we have a random team win. A non-top 2. Duke, how many times in the past have we said Duke's year?
Right, exactly.
Maybe Baylor wins. I know we talked a little bit before the show. If Memphis does not make it, what do you do?
I know a lot of people are going to say 1 more year. And the vast majority of ways, I hope that happens. But after not making the tournament in 4 years, I don't see how Memphis keeps Penny Hardaway. Yes, he recruits the lights off.
So you can say the recruiting thing, and that's what I said weeks ago was his recruiting. Can you find someone to replicate that?
No, you can't.
Right now, he has no recruits.
No, exactly.
They offered Emmanuel Hansen, who for most people don't know is a one-armed basketball player from the state of Florida.
Yes.
I get it. He looks phenomenal. But I don't want to doubt the kid. It's a great story. He's missing his arm right above the elbow. He's playing high-level high school basketball. He's putting up great numbers. I think once he gets to a better talent pool, his athleticism can only take him so far.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think Memphis will get in. It's going to take a miracle. if you can sweep Houston to end the season, I think you get it.
Yeah, I think Memphis has to go, I believe, 3-0 these last.
You got Wichita State. I think you have 4 games left. I'm sorry. Let me double check.
I know we play Temple next game.
You play Temple. Here it is. You got Temple, the 24th, Wichita State, South Florida, and Houston.
Yeah.
Here's the best thing, though, Starkey. 3 out of 4 at the FedEx Forum.
And I heard today that Memphis should be favored in all 4 of those games.
100%. You've beat all 4 of the season. You beat Houston. At Houston.
Beat them well.
And it's going to be senior night. So, the senior, we're a veteran team. Half this team will probably not be back next year.
Yeah, agreed.
A lot of the team that makes me more scared for next year with having nobody on the rock, nobody committed.
Yes.
But you got Temple 15-9, Wichita State 13-11, South Florida 7-19, and you got Houston 22-4. You should win all those. There's no reason why you can't go 4-0 in the season. If you go 4-0, right now that loss on Sunday, moved you from 3rd to 5th. Right now, you get a first-round bye in conference tournament. You finish where you're at. You get in there, I think if Memphis makes it to the semifinals. I'm sorry, you made it to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals or championship game, you are a lock in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't make it to the championship game, you got to beat Houston in the season to get in.
Yes.
You have to. I look at bracketology. Ole Miss is not on it. I see you're
nowhere close.
Do you fire Kermit Davis?
I think it's time. I love Kermit. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, he's only been there 4 years.
Exactly.
He has a tournament experience though.
His very first season, he took Ole Miss to the NCAA tournament. I will say this though, I love Kermit. I've always been a big fan of Kermit's. But that very first year, he was playing with Kennedy's players.
I agree. He's playing with Brandon Tyree and who's the other guy? Can't remember his name right now. But he's playing with Brandon Tyree, and Brandon Tyree was good.
Yeah.
Oh, Devontae Schuster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got smoked in the tournament against Oklahoma that year because I picked Ole Miss to win.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm kind of in the same boat as Memphis. Can you find somebody else to win that can duplicate the wins and get the better? Because you got to think, Penny up till this year has had no problems getting recruits.
No.
And you're going to get late reclassifications. You're going to get transfer portal. And Penny has proven he's pretty good in the transfer portal.
Yeah. I will say this. I do think it would be a lot easier for Ole Miss to replicate or even do a little better than Kermit from an overall recruiting coaching standpoint than it would be for Memphis to do that with Penny. I think that there's not as much pressure. I know obviously better overall conference just in general, but I don't think that there's as much pressure coaching Ole Miss basketball as there is Memphis basketball.
Not. You remember, guys, you got to think men's basketball in Oxford's it's definitely the 3rd favorite.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You can make the argument football, baseball is probably a toss-up, depending on who you ask.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're speaking of transfer portal. Mr. Transfer King, Arkansas, another big win this weekend, baby. Beat Tennessee. Even better, we had another 5-star recruit. You know what Arkansas's class ranking is next year in basketball?
Wow.
2. They have
the
Nick
bus is killing
Smith,
it.
who a lot of people have him going in the top. I mean, granted, it's NBA mock drafts. A lot of people have him going top 5 in the NBA mock draft. He's number 6 overall. You have the number 18 overall player. You have the number 57 overall player, number 85 and number 88 overall players in the country. And you have the number 22 player. Apparently it's coming down between Arkansas and OK State. You get that? I'm just going ahead and say it. A lot of people are already saying that Arkansas is going to be returning 2 key contributors from this year's team. 2 veterans. Yeah. So I think Arkansas, you can already lock them in national champion next year. The must. If you get the last guy, Anthony Black, I'm sorry. But you get him, yeah, we're good. We're good either way, baby. Muss is going to hit the transfer portal again. Like he's done every year. I don't know. March Madness will probably be the best one. I think it's going to be the best one ever this year because you don't know who's going to this year.
It's going to be a complete toss-up.
It's in some years you always have a favorite. Last year, Baylor was Baylor dominated throughout the season. This year, we haven't really had that dominating team all year. And that's what I think is going to make it better.
Absolutely.
We don't know. What else is coming up after March?
The NFL draft.
NFL draft, baby.
My favorite weekend.
Your favorite. I love it. I think it's great, but March Madness and NBA All-Star Weekend, the best weekends to me. I'll sit there and keep it on, watch it, depending on who's getting drafted. Like we've said in past weeks, I don't know about this year. So I'm gonna
we said last week. I think just kind of a quick.
We've said it
restate.
quite before.
I think it's going to be a run on receivers, defensive ends.
Yes, and I don't even think the best player is going to go first again this year. I'm going to take a stab on it. Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame, the best player in the draft. I believe he's a generational safety. So the Jags, I think,
very overrated or underrated position too.
100%. And it's kind of one of those positions you don't take first. You don't take top 3, top 4.
Right.
Because I think the last safety to go high in there was Jamal Adams, and he's had a great NFL. He's had a good NFL career. He's only had like 4 or 5 total interceptions.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those came his rookie year. But you know what? We're going to break down all 32 teams just to see what we think their needs are. Okay? You down for that?
Let's do it.
First overall pick, Jacksonville.
They need a lot.
I said last week, I'm sticking with it. The biggest thing they need, protect your franchise quarterback. It was proven in the playoffs.
Agreed.
This draft is too deep at wide receivers. So they have Evan Neal. I agree with that. The next pick, Detroit. My best friend Mitch has a saying. They have a saying in Detroit. He's taught me over the years. There's always next year.
I learned that well from being a Cubs fan.
I think they're tired of saying that this year, but this is not the year they get over the hump and say, I think next year may be the year. No, it won't.
No.
You got to do a lot of rebuilding there, but you have the assets now. They have a defensive end. Keep him home. Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. I like it. You got your star left tackle, Penei Sewell. Get your defensive end. Get your lines locked up.
Absolutely.
Jared Goff is not terrible. He's not great.
He's not great.
So you have the Swift. DeAndre Swift is a great running back. You have your running back. You have your tight end.
Tight end. T.J. Hawkinson.
You have St. Brown as receiver. Receivers, you're there. You're getting there. This is a great draft for one. Definitely lock up probably the draft top pass rusher, Aiden Hutchinson. Lock him up. The next one, the Jets. I'm sorry, not the Jets, the Texans. I was looking ahead. David Mills. I like him. Would
Yeah,
not go
he
quarterback
came.
there.
Yeah, he came in and definitely, I think, overproduced than what a lot of people thought he would.
Oh, I
Then
mean,
again, no one
granted,
saw
they
that
were
he would.
they were throwing the ball a lot because they were behind every game. You have
And
your left.
no one's.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and no one saw that he would even need to be playing because at the time they still had Deshaun Watson.
They still have Deshaun, but you don't
They-
know what's going to happen there. Will he get traded? Will he play there? He wants to stay in Houston, from what I've been told. He loves Houston. But it's just, will you stay there? Will you go? Will you be ever allowed to play again? I don't know. They have the Lions drafting my guy, Kyle Hamilton. So you have your left tackle already locked up. You have a lot of needs there. Brandon Cooks is a great receiver. He's a little old, older than what you want.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't take it off. There's really no receiver taking the top 5. There's no Jamar Chase in this draft. No Chase in this draft. Next, you have the Jets. Zach Wilson wasn't too impressed rookie year. Needs some help.
They do have their left tackle for the future, though, in Mekhi Becton.
Yes, I agree there.
Star.
They have the Jets taking Derek Stingley.
Okay.
Who I heard the other day, some people have him as a bust in this year's draft.
Really?
They think he was a product of the LSU system. I would know Mo Claiborne. Gosh. That was going to be a great quarterback for the Cowboys. Got burned. It is what it is. The Giants. They need a lot of help, too. The Giants also have a lot of questions going forward in the NFL. What are they going to do next? Do you keep Daniel Jones as your franchise quarterback? I mean, do you pay his contract extension is coming to pick up his options, and you have to pay him some money? Yeah. I wouldn't, but this is not the draft to make that decision.
No.
Because they also got to pay him if they want to keep him. And I hope they don't, but you got to pay Saquon. Saquon's going to get the bag from somebody. When he's healthy, he's one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the NFL. You can make the argument he's slightly better than Henry in some ways because he's a better pass catcher.
Yeah.
But Henry still won, but you can make the argument that Saquon, when healthy, it's him, McCaffrey, and Henry. That's the top 3 running backs when everybody's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have them going O-line. Akeem Ikwana from North Carolina State. Good pick. I mean, you could go wide receiver here if you have the first one off the board. I don't know. Don't think so. You could go D-line here. The next one, we have our first quarterback.
Okay.
Carolina takes Kenny Pickett. Don't know.
I hate to say it. I think Pickett will be the first quarterback taken.
I like Pickett. I think it'll be him or Malik. Someone takes the risk on Malik just because of the upside. But do you move on from Sam Darnold after 1 year with okay weapons, or you want to try to draft a weapon here to help him? Because you got to think he had Chuba Hubbard as his running back half the season.
That's very true.
You also have the Giants again with the 7th pick drafting a defensive end. The huge fall if this happened, you would win the draft here. Kayvon Thibodeau, who many people had him as a lock.
Yeah, preseason #1 overall lock.
Him and Rattler were the 1 and 2s. We have our first wide receiver getting taken with Atlanta. I mean, do you move on from Matty Ice? Not this draft. Kind of like the Lions and the Giants. This is not the draft to move on from somebody.
I will say this though. I have seen at least one article saying, and I can talk about them right here because we're not going to be able to talk about them at all the rest of the segment. Which team is going to be have the next Rams mentality. Trade for a really good quarterback on a not great team. I have seen, I don't remember who it was, but I saw one team pull that trigger and go get Matt Ryan from Atlanta.
I could see him go to New Orleans. Tampa Bay, maybe.
I think he would do
mean,
really well
I
in
don't
New
think.
Orleans.
Well, see, if he goes to New Orleans or Tampa, that's just that. I don't think they would do that because that's interdivision.
Right.
They all play in the same division. They're all in the same conference. So you got to play them twice a year. They have them taking the number one wide receiver off the board, Garrett Wilson from the Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. You got him, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is good. No one really knows what's going to happen with. Oh, what was the wide receiver? I can't think of his name right now. My mind went blank. The wide receiver from Bama who he quit during the Falcons halfway through the season. Calvin Ridley. No one knows what's going to happen with Ridley. Yeah, if I'm them, bring Cordell Patterson back. He was the life of the offense this year.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he was thriving in Atlanta after that position change.
The Broncos, they have him drafting defensive end. I think that's just because they think they're going to get Rodgers in the offseason. Then you have the Jets again going offensive line, protecting, locking up all of David Wilson protects sides. We have our second quarterback off the board, the Washington Commodores. Is that the name, or is it
Commanders?
Commanders. Sorry, it's such a terrible name. But you have them taking Malik Willis. I don't know. I like Taylor Heineke. He's a good quarterback. Is he the future? No, but he does enough. He's above average, I think. He's maybe in that 16 threshold quarterbacks. But get him more weapons.
Yeah.
All he had was Terry McLaurin. That's it. Didn't have a tight end. Get him more weapons. Their defense took a major step back this year from what everybody thought it was. I drafted them in a couple of drafts and it burned me.
Mm-hmm.
I
think Washington will have more production if and when Gibson gets fully healthy.
100%. Then we have the Vikings. You got a new coach there. You still got Kirk Cousins, hopefully, unless they trade him. But they have them taking a cornerback. I think that's a wise move. Because who knows, if Rodgers stays, you need all the help you can get.
Absolutely, for
sure. You never have enough cornerbacks playing against Aaron Rodgers. The next guy is is the Browns taking my guy, who I think is the best wide receiver in this draft, Treylon Burks. Hey, they're doing something they need. Get Baker better, younger weapons. Granted, Odell put on a show in the playoffs. He did. He proved that, hey, a new team, new surroundment helped him. I agree with that. Get Baker some help. The next one, the Ravens. Interesting pick here. A lot of people had them definitely locked in the playoffs. They have them taking defensive line. You definitely need help in that division because right now you could argue that's either the toughest or the second toughest division in football, pro football right now. You can argue the AFC West is the toughest, or the AFC North. That's a tough division right now. Would not want to be in that one. Then you got the Eagles with back-to-back picks going O-line and D-line. Eagles they do need some help. I think they should get what is his name? Who's the quarterback? Oh, Jalen Hurts. Sorry, Get Jalen Hurts some weapons. He needs it terribly. Then you have the Chargers, who honestly I thought they were going to make it. They have them getting a wide receiver, Drake London. I mean, because who knows? Mike Williams actually showed to be the Mike Williams he was supposed to be coming out of college. Do you keep? I don't know. Do you pay him after 1 year? Do you franchise him? I don't know if I'd franchise him, but get a cheap guy here. Saints, they have Mr. Matt Corral going to NOLA.
I think that is the best possible landing spot for Matt
See,
Corral.
I would have said that a couple weeks ago if Sean Payton was still there.
Yes, agreed. But I know they just hired their defensive coordinator to be their new head coach, but I do believe that they brought back their offensive coordinator, which was huge.
It'd be interesting to see if they can keep that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Alvin Kamara. And does Michael Johnson come back? Is that his name? I forget. Who is the Michael Thomas? Sorry, I don't want to say Michael Thomas. My bad, folks.
Michael Thomas, yeah.
Sorry. I'm going to say Thomas. And then you go back to the Eagles. Remember, folks, the Eagles have 3 first-round draft picks this year.
Yes, they do.
The Eagles could do very well. They have them going cornerback here. They definitely needed that. We saw in the playoffs. Steelers, they have them going O-line.
To protect whoever is going to be throwing the ball.
I think they're going to make a trade. I don't think the Steelers will be picking at this spot. I think they'll be making a trade for a veteran quarterback in the offseason. Could it be the Matt Ryan? He has the juice left in his arm. He just doesn't ever have time to throw it. The next team is the Raiders. I would like to see him get Derek Carr a little bit more help.
Mm-hmm.
Since his number 1 guy they just drafted a couple years ago is in life in jail.
Yep.
But I don't know. The Raiders, they have him going cornerback. I would go receiver here if I'm them. The next team is the Cardinals. This is a shocker. They have Arizona taking a wide receiver.
They have to figure out the quarterback situation first.
Yeah, will Kyler Murray still be there? Because you got to think they have DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 right there. All 3 under contract. AJ Green for, I think, 1 more year. And you have one of my favorite draft guys coming out of college was Andy Isabella, who's just been buried on the depth chart.
Right.
I think you go defense there, honestly. Defense or O-line.
Because J.J. Watt was just a 1-year deal. So
yes.
Watt's not even there anymore.
Nope. I would go defense. They have next is Dallas. I've seen a lot of things here. I think if there's a great O-line available, you draft him. If not, maybe go receiver depending on what happens. Because Cedric Wilson was a free agent. Michael Gallup's a free agent. Half our team's a free agent. We can't pay them all. So
right.
Maybe go wide receiver here. I would love for Traylon Burks to get Cowboy. I'd buy that jersey in a heartbeat. Just you think, Amari Cooper, Traylon Burks, CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great first-round exit team. Then you got the Bills going cornerback. I like it. I like the Bills going defense there. Maybe go wide receiver, but I like it though. Because hey, you definitely needed a couple more help in the secondary than when you'd been playing probably in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
The secondary was a little bit better. Titans, they go O-line. I think that's a good pick there.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay, linebacker. I like it. And holy gosh, oh my gosh, they have Green Bay taking a skilled player for the first time in what could be Aaron Rodgers' career. A wide receiver. They've never done that.
Chris Olave?
Sky Moore. He's a sleeper from Western Michigan. Apparently he's flying up the draft. Everybody loves him. And then we have a local guy, Nakobe Dean, going to Miami.
The pride of the Horn Lake. Pride of Horn Lake Eagles.
And then we have Kansas City. I don't know. I think depending on what you do this offseason, remember, like we said a couple weeks ago, half their entire offense is a free agent. Yeah. So you maybe go I don't know. You maybe go offense there. You probably defense though. Because remember,
I would think probably defense. I think they're going to try to run it back with that offense.
Not Kyler. Patrick Mahomes is kind of like Aaron Rodgers. He can make any subpar wide receiver look amazing. Same with Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
He can make anybody look great. And then you have the Bengals drafting offensive line. There we go. Thank you. Protect Joe Shiesty. And to round it out, what should have been the St. Louis Rams, you have the Lions drafting a wide receiver for Jared Goff to not throw the ball to him.
For Jared Goff to throw over his head.
Or throw in the dirt. But I think this draft, we're going to be talking about it more and more. I think it's going to be good. My draft wise, it'll be good. Talent wise, I don't know, man. I've said it. It'll be okay. Do you want to jump into our hot topic?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Topics. You want to start?
Let's do it.
We each came up with one today. Starkey, we'll start with yours.
All right. So, if you could name any 3 places in history, either destination or country, historical time period, any of the above, what would they be and why? 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
I yield the camera.
I'm going to do all mine current.
Okay, go for it.
Or maybe pre-COVID.
Okay, fair enough. PC years, I like it.
Number one place I want to live is Australia.
Okay.
Just so many fun things to do, even though it's like the deadliest place to live. Like you can literally die in your sleep from an animal coming in your bed and killing you. It's awesome there. Plus their government is beautiful. Like their tax rate is amazing. Their healthcare is good. They're not too pushy. They kind of let you do whatever you want. Australia, man, is probably my number one destination. Of USA ever goes bad, I'm going to Australia.
I have heard. One of my best friends' family went over there 4 or 5 years ago. I've heard the flight to Australia is awful.
Oh, it is. I mean, my dad used to.
It's like an 18-hour flight.
Oh yeah, my dad used to make those stuff. He used to go to China. We're not eating it. He never. I think he went to Australia once, but he'd go to China. It's about the same flight. Where you're flying over the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Nothing but blue, because if you go down, you better swim.
Yes.
But I like it. It's a beautiful country. I've heard great things about it. Plus, I've always wanted to surf. And
good opportunity to do that.
And who doesn't love a koala bear? The second one would be Costa Rica. I'd love to live in Costa Rica too. Nice little country in Central America.
All right, went there once. Right, I like it.
Went there for a week in high school for a mission trip. Fell in love with it. Beautiful place. Exchange rate, beautiful.
Yes.
The only downfall is there is no military. So that's the only downfall. There's no military. So someone ever picks on them, they're gone. Costa Rica is no longer existent. 3. I don't really know. I'm gonna go Toronto.
Okay. Canadian. I like it.
Love it. Universal healthcare. Not the biggest fan of it. It's okay. I'm also not really political people. I'm just throwing stuff out there, kind of. I know a little bit about it, but yeah. Universal healthcare plus Toronto is the New York of Canada.
It is.
It's a very lively town. I've been told there's always something to do. And besides, Canadian people are so much nicer than Americans right now.
They've always been nicer than Americans. And
yes, it's cold as all get out up there. But, I like the cold. Let's see what the weather is right now in Canada. It's probably like 10 degrees.
More than likely.
Weather in Toronto. Right now in Toronto, it is 36 degrees. So not too bad.
Wow.
It's going to be down to 24 by Thursday. Hey, I'll take it. Let's go. Those are my 3 topics.
All right. Number 3 for me, I would love to visit Greece.
Okay, a little history action. Love it.
I think it's a uh, beautiful country, beautiful area, that part of Europe. Um, Greek, big, weirdly enough, given my calling and profession, always been interested in Greek mythology.
hmm
Um, it's on my bucket list to visit the Parthenon in Nashville. I'm going to go one day. Um, but yeah, number 3 would be Greece. I would love to go to Greece.
Okay, I like it. Let's go.
Number 2, uh, the the country of Italy, specifically the city of Rome.
Okay, we're going very Greek on this. I love it.
I would love to go to Rome. History, culture. Um, Obviously, big. The Roman Empire was massive throughout history. Um, I would love to see just different historical places. The Colosseum. Obviously, a lot of history there, a lot of sad history there. But I would love to go to Rome. Obviously, Paul wrote about it a lot throughout the New Testament. Would love to go to Rome.
Okay, I like it. What's number 1?
Number 1 may sound like a little bit of a cop out, but I would love to go to Israel.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Disney.
Oh no.
Good, I like it. You're picking all the hot places too.
Yeah. Visiting the Holy Land it's always been something I've wanted to do for a really, really long time. I know they have guided tours around the country, especially around Jerusalem, visiting different places, everything like that. One day before God calls me home, I'm going to be in Israel at some point.
Well, let's go, man. Let's wait till after this whole little war in the Middle East.
yeah. Let's definitely hoping post that. But yes, I would love to go to Israel.
I like it. I like to go to Rome one day. Just so I can see the gladiator, the Colosseum. So my topic. I watched Hunger
Go for
Games
it.
the other day.
Okay. Good movie.
What celebrity would you pick to be your partner in the games, and why?
Okay. So you asked me this off camera just before we got started. So I've had a little bit of time to think about this. I would have to go Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That's a big target. You want to be small in the games.
Yes, but he could easily overpower people also.
Okay. Because remember, you also got to think. I think I kind of feel like The Rock sometimes he's not as funny as people make him out, and I feel like his ego would get in the way a little too. I like it though. He would overpower 90% of the people, 95%.
Absolutely.
But he'd just be too egotistical. He'd probably get himself killed. I like it though, because remember, you also got to think too. In the first Hunger Games, how long were they in there for? They were in there about 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 or 3 weeks. Can you be around The Rock for 2 to 3 weeks?
I would like to think so.
That's a bold take. I couldn't. You ready for mine?
Go for it.
Going with Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Chris Pratt he loves to shoot guns. He loves swords. So expert in hand-to-hand combat or long-range combat. He's good at crossbows, good at bow and arrows. And he knows how to hunt. He can fish. He loves fishing. He's good with tools. He
Very
can build
outdoorsy.
shelters. He has a farm, so he's good at growing stuff. If we ever need to grow plant, we could be there for months. In the Hunger Games, I think one Hunger Games lasted for like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on it. But I want that. I want somebody that knows the area. And the best thing about it, it keep me laughing the whole gosh darn time. And I need that. If I'm looking death in the eye with someone pulling a sword at us, I want his last words to be something great. And Chris Pratt would give me something great. I'm either gonna come out happy with Chris Pratt winning, or me and him are gonna die laughing.
There's no in between.
There's no in between, baby. We're either winning or we're dying, but we're gonna go out laughing.
All right.
And plus, he was in Zero Dark 30, so he has a lot. He's great in hand-to-hand combat, and he's Star Lord, and he hung out with dinosaurs. Yeah. Let's go, baby. I like The Rock though, but I've seen him throw spears and he can lift a truck with his thumb. I like it though. He kind of reminds me of that. Who was the guy in the first one from the blonde-headed guy from the first one? He was from the trip, I think, Kingdom number 2 or Colony number 2. He was blonde. He was like the big tough guy. Kato.
Yes.
Yes, he imagine The Rock would be the kind of like the Kato, a little cocky. Definitely the favorite. I like it. Well, folks, I think this is in for episode 6 of Ball Don't Lie. And unlike earlier, like I said, we will be back for week 7 next week. But if Starkey keeps saying more hot topics like that, I don't know if we can.
I guess we'll find out.
I
Tune
love
in
it.
next week for more.
Yes, folks.
Tune in next week to see if
Stay safe. Stay COVID free, baby. See y'all next week. Bye.
Yep. Y'all be good.